Hello. Hey, everyone. We are live, and I am glad that you're tuning in tonight. Great to have you with us here at Rainbow Soul. We'll be doing free readings, so if you want us to take a look at your astrology chart, please post it in the comments. Um, you can post your birthday, you can post your actual circle chart. I read circle charts, not graphs or whatever those other things are. Um, it's actually harder to read those. Have you ever seen those, Bright Hawk? Yeah, I can't read it. I'm like, what? Wait. And it takes me a long time to figure it out. Yeah, it's so much easier to just read the circle chart and go in the flow of things. If um if you're wondering about learning astrology, I just want to let you know that not only do we have a great little book at our website where you could get 50% off and learn and figure out what your astrology chart is. You can figure out, like, I'm a Virgo, Scorpio rising, or whatever it is. You can look that up right here. You can get 50% off this little guide. It's really just a couple bucks, and it just shows you how to get a free chart and how to get started. But if you're really serious about astrology and you really want to learn, I can let you know that we have a class here that in the digital shop that's worth, like, uh, in my opinion, it's worth hundreds of dollars. But I'm going to be slowly releasing it in Mystics Academy. So if you're not a member of Mystics Academy, make sure you check that out. I released this month's our first class that Bright Hawk and I had made, which is chart orientation, which helps you get, like, sort of your orientation under you, like, understand, okay, what's at the top of the chart, what's at the bottom, what's this over here on the left, and what's it mean to be above the horizon, below, what's all this mean? What are all these little pieces of the pie, and what are we talking about here? It kind of gives you a little bit of orientation. That's the first class. Each class is about an hour or so long. They'll also be posted with little cheat sheets that you'll be able to download. Not a lot of cheat sheets for the chart orientation, but there are definitely some coming up for the rest of the classes. So I hope that you will join us on Mystics Academy. There are also live events in the Mystics Academy where you can join us. You can join me for a live teaching session where you can come in and ask any question you want, and I'll do my best to answer it. You can do practice readings with other people, with me there to coach. And we even have a readings party and all kinds of things every month. And plus, you get savings on a reading or a coaching package. Great way to save money, great way to learn along with me, to learn astrology or to learn whatever you're into. It's great to have you all here. Hi, Ashley. Great to have you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. And Kara. Hi, Kara. Welcome. Good to have you. I'm glad you're all here. And we would love to answer any of your questions about the astrology this week. Mercury is going into retrograde on Thursday. Um, to be honest, it's not really that intense. It's going to have a lot of blessings to Jupiter. It might feel like you've screwed it up or something, but you probably didn't in the end. Jupiter's probably going to, you might kind of screw this or that up or whatever, but in the end, I think it's going to be better than you think. I think it's going to turn out better than you think. So I really am confident that this Mercury retrograde is going to go down in the books of easy Mercury retrogrades. And considering how intense our week or so has been with the eclipse and Saturn and Neptune and Aries and everything that's been going on in the last week or so, we could use a break, huh? I don't know about you guys, but I sure could use a break. So how are you all going? How's everybody going out there? How's the world been treating you? How's the universe? What kind of messages, what kinds of things have been coming your way? What's happening for you in this moment? Um, what's happening for you? Tell us about it. You can put your birthday or your astrology chart in the comments, and I'll be happy to try to grab that and do a reading for you to the best of my ability. Um, Hi, Shauna. Hey, Shauna. Good to have you. Welcome. Welcome. Corey's baby.
So, just a reminder, last week we had the solar eclipse, and next week we will have the lunar eclipse. And the time in between the eclipses is a very magical time. It's a time that we often so the eclipses, eclipses begin and end cycles. This is definitely a time that sets the tone for what the next for the rest of the year, and in some cases many years. This time that we're in is a cycle of great completions and great emergence. I'm not even sure we're at the what's coming next, but we're definitely at a conclusion. We're definitely seeing, okay, sorry.
So I'll talk while Bright Hawk manages through. We're both recovering from bronchitis, so please be patient with our coughing, and we're mostly okay. It is what triggered the medical event that I had on that I talk about, and it is why our broadcast is a little bit late, but it is going up right now as we speak, actually. So thanks for being patient with that. We just obviously have had a medical event. We're both recovering from bronchitis. It hasn't exactly been easy. So, we're doing the best we can. So we appreciate all of you being patient with that. And Corey's baby, I'm pretty sure that's you, Shauna. I was looking at that and I was like, wait a minute, that's Shawnee. So anyway, Shawnee, the Mercury's going retrograde. But I think it's gonna be good for you, Shawnee. It is gonna be in your eighth house, It is gonna be it's gonna speak to that eighth house area. But I think in the end that's gonna be okay because all this spiritual stuff you've been working on, all that kind of stuff, you're gonna have an awakening. I wouldn't be surprised if during this, like some things feel like, oh, I didn't do this or I didn't do that right or whatever. You might feel like that, give yourself a hard time. But it turned out that you actually did. Um, and it will actually help you. And with the influences of the planets, you may not even see what kind of cycle is coming to an end, but it will come to an end for you. Um, and I really feel like you'll have a blessing of things that you didn't even see coming. And, it's not going to be a bad Mercury retrograde. It's not going to be a rough one. Just going to say.
So, just a reminder, we're happy to look at charts. We need 3 vital pieces of information. Obviously, the birth date. Very important. If you have it, the time makes it much, much, much more accurate. And of course, we also need the location. These 3 pieces of information are what make an astrology chart really interesting for you. If you don't know your time, there's a process that Hollis happens to be very good at called rectification, where we ask a lot of questions and we try to work in what we think the rising might be and what resonates with you. So
I will say real quick though, if I've done a reading for you, just make sure I know who you are and say, "Hey Hollis, you have my chart. Can you look at it?" And I'll look at it. I just looked at Shawnee's. Shawnee, this is going to be in your 8th house. So this means Mercury's in retrograde, but it's in Pisces and it's with Venus and it's in a trine to Jupiter. These are all good, positive planets. So it might feel like things are screwed up, but they're actually not. You might feel like you're being led wrong or doing the wrong thing or whatever, but you're not. And in the end, you end up in the right place. So by the time you get to April, you're going to be all good. You're going to be like, I'm kind of glad I went through all that because now I have this and it's going to be even better. So I just need you to have hope and faith in that and just know that that's where it's leading you. Okay? Because I know it's hard right now, but it's also very important that you stay that you stay the course. Tap into that eighth house topics. So that's witchcraft, spirituality, tarot, astrology, consciousness, meditation, those kinds of things, prayer, your spirit guides. You're not even going to realize what deep cycles come to an end until you're way on the other end. Then you'll realize it. Good evening, Lissy. Great to have you.
I'm working on her son's chart.
Okay. Hi, Sprinkle. Welcome. Yeah, bronchitis is terrible, isn't it? This is pretty horrible stuff. Yeah, we're trying to get through it. Thank you. Yeah. Gosh, Chelsea. Ugh. Right. I hope that gets better for you too. Yeah. Okay. Oh, probably is, especially if he's a kid. Um. Oh, okay. I have to move to a new place next month, and I'm moving back to my hometown. Oh, of course you are. Of course you are, Shawnee. The South Node is in Aries, and Saturn and Neptune went into Aries. Um, Thursday, they were at perfect 0 degrees. Sorry, Friday, they were at exact 0 degrees. But Shawnee, you have to go back there for some reason. It has something to do with something you got to let go, something you got to let go of. So stay open to that. I think you'll end up with choices in the end. Um, but I think it will be good for you in the end. So I just think you need to just take a breath, take a breather. I know you're going through a lot, but try not to let things completely take over. Try not to get caught up in the energies of things. But I really think in the end, Shawnee, it's going to take you to where you need to be. But eighth house work, you're not even realizing what chapters you're ending right now. You're not even aware. You won't even be aware of it until it's over. And then when it's over, you'll be like, wow, I'm glad I did that. It'll take a while. It's a big process, but I think it'll be good for you in the end. You're on the right track. Just keep going. You got this. It's a south node. Saturn and Neptune are in the house of your south node, in your house of relocation, which is Aries. It's also in the house of higher learning. Also might be legal matters and other things like that. And with Mercury retrograde in the eighth house, it could be about other people's money. So you should also be aware of that. There could be some miscommunication, or you think like you're not going to get this or not going to get that, or especially like if you have to borrow money or any kind of charities or anything like that that might be helping you out with the Mercury retrograde there. Don't worry about it. It will come through in the end, even if it seems kind of screwed up in the beginning. Okay. So try not to get caught up in that. Okay. So how's it going, Bright Hawk? Were you able to get her son's chart?
I need to look at it 'cause it's not obvious to me.
You can't share it, can you? Do you know how to share?
I could. If you could tell me how, I would.
You hit present or invite at the bottom, but you choose share screen instead of slides. Normally you choose slides. And so this time you hit share screen.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay. All right. Okay. It's right next to your picture at the bottom. See under our main picture? Okay. So you have to choose share screen and then you choose window, the window tab, and then you choose Astro Gold.
It's not showing up.
Hold on. There you go. I'll wait for you. I'll stop. Just come back in. Because you had to allow. Sorry about that. She had to allow. Sometimes the browser will block you from doing certain things. It's very annoying. So we are in a Mercury retrograde, like I said. But in the end, it will always lead you to where you want to go. So that's right. Yeah, you have to come back in. Just reopen the browser and come back. That's right, Shawnee. I have to let go of my childhood trauma and I have to go back to the spot that it happened and let all that animosity go and remember all the good times. That's right, Shawnee. That's right. There's got to be something good to come of it. I'm sure you'll figure what that is, and I'm sure you'll find out what that is. Okay. Oh, you had a rough day too, Sprinkle, on Friday. Yeah, it was really rough, wasn't it? It was rough. Yeah, I was in the ER. Yeah, it was a hard day. What happened to you, Sprinkle? What happened? Was it like a hard relationship thing, or do you know what house Aries rules for you? For me, it's the house of health. So, I got taken out by an ambulance. But I'm okay. Bright Hawk did it. Well done. You've done it.
Yay. Okay.
All right.
I'll let you take it away. You're much better at this. The first things that I'm going to notice about your son's chart is obviously he's a sun Sagittarius. The Libra sign is the rising with Mars on the ascendant. And Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is in the second house in Scorpio, which is in its detriment. Because it's opposite Taurus and it rules Taurus. So when we talk about a planet that's in its detriment, it means it's as far away from home as possible. So it's not its strongest. It's opposite of that. Okay, so but he's got some lovely trines. Jupiter trining. Wait a second. Can you take that down so I can see?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I can't see the bottom of it. Okay.
Jupiter is in a trine to Neptune.
Thank you. I was just trying to see. I was trying to figure out where it was going. So yes, that's right. Amplifying dreams and visions.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I would say is that if you had a rough day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with your son, even over the weekend, that would have had a lot to do with the Aries Saturn conjunction in the 10th house. Did it have to do with school? Dysregulation, you said. So that has a lot to do with what he puts out in the world, So it's really important that you learn that he learns how to regulate and learns how to manage his emotions, particularly his anger. And since Mars is the ruling planet of Aries, it's on his ascendant, it's in Libra. So What this speaks to is that anger, especially since it's opposite Uranus over in the seventh house in Aries. Sorry, I just realized that's Leo, which is where the North Node is. But either way, the it's still his life path. And so when we're talking about a kid, it's in his sixth house, it's in day-to-day life. He has to learn how to regulate his anger, because if he doesn't, with the Mars in Libra, he's going to take his anger out on people that he loves. So you've got to help him learn how to regulate his anger, because if you don't, he'll mess up his own life path. He's probably doing that now. He'll mess up his own relationships. He'll, get mad at a friend and yell at them and then regret it later. Um, he might even internalize some of that anger. He might do other things with the anger that are like take it out on himself or something like that. And that's not really helpful with a Mars and Libra.
So one of the things that really sticks out to me about this chart, that's why we stare at them, we look at them, we love to do this, because the more charts you look at, the more experience all of us get. Two things that immediately occurred to me, and this is what astrology is, right? We study our own charts first. When I look at this chart, I realize how much he has in common with me. So the first to sixth houses, we call that below the horizon. The 7th to 12th, top of the chart, we call that above the horizon. It's simply daytime, nighttime, right? So what you see in his chart is that almost everything of his chart, except the North Node and Uranus, are all below the horizon, which means all the feelings are below. They're deep, okay? So when I think about deep feelings, I see Libra on the ascendant, and I go, whoa, Libra's very sensitive. They are very conflict avoidant. Sometimes Libras can be very codependent because they're so conflict avoidant. They want to get along, go along. And so as a result, you have Libra that does not want conflict, hates it, in fact. And you have Mars right there, who's just running ground. But Mars is opposite. So he has Mars and Venus in detriment. That's challenging. When you have Mars opposite its ruling sign, frustration can occur. And so when I see Libra with Mars, those are like, do not go together. So again, what Hollis was saying about really helping him understand his internal environment, how to name his feelings instead of having his feelings run him, really important. I'm a Mars ascendant, and so is Hollis's sun. Mars ascendants, we are go-getters. Our biggest problem is that we're ready, fire, oh yeah, we were supposed to aim. Mars on the ascendant means we leap out of the gate before we actually realize which way we're going. We want to get it done. We need to get it done. We're doers. That's what Mars on the ascendant is. You're going to have people who are active, like sports would be great. Be active in your body. With that Libra and then the Jupiter and Scorpio, again, Scorpio is deep, deep feeling, intuitive, mysterious, keeper of secrets. So you've got Jupiter, which is the big amplifier, right? So this person, when I look at this person, is going to be a deep soul. That's what I see. I'm not sure about you, Hollis. The other thing I can't help but notice is that Mercury and Saturn are conjunct in Sagittarius. And we just talked about that Saturn on the world point that all of us are feeling, amplified with the conjunction with Neptune. So I wouldn't doubt if Friday was challenging. it's a lot of energy for everyone. The other thing I'm going to point out is that that would have also triggered him potentially this week, is that you have a zero moon in Pisces. Again, because astrology, this is the beauty of astrology. It's never one thing. It's multiple things pointing at a theme over and over. So moon in Pisces, mother, moon, ocean of emotion in Pisces. Pisces, I always call the ocean of emotion. Remember, they're very empathic. They're very all is one, unity consciousness. Pisces are very spiritual. It's in the 5th house of creativity and expression. And so the zero signs that placements that are at 0 or 29. And again, I just feel a lot of resonance with this because I have a lot of this. So I've studied it. Like, what does it mean to be a 0? What does it mean to be 29? And what it means is that you're at the most powerful part of the sign, right? So 0, think of it in terms of its purity, in terms of its Pisces, just all I can think of is the ocean of emotion and spirituality. It's just like this image I have of that. So you've got the moon, you've got lots of emotion, and it's all in the 5th house. So it's creativity. You've got Neptune there, which is, of course, imagination and visions and dreams, with Chiron. And Chiron is the healer, the wounded healer. It points to where our healing is. So those are a few of the things that I notice. And it's no surprise that this last week was dysregulating, I think, for a lot of people, for sure.
And it will be, he'll come and go, Lissy, but what you have to understand is about Saturn is the teacher, right? And Saturn's transiting his 6th house of day-to-day life. So it's really important that he learns to navigate his emotions. It sounds like you're already on the right track. So good to know that you're on the right track. Remember that with socio-emotional learning, it's never overnight. I don't know, like if you homeschool or if you are willing. I started doing a podcast and a journal with my grandkids called the Big Life Journal. It's really good for navigating big emotions. Both of my grandkids have really big emotions. So that could be helpful for you. There's lots of socio-emotional resources out there for kids. You would be really flabbergasted at exactly there's just so much. It just goes on and on and on. And there's so much different learning that they can get their hands on. So don't be afraid to reach out for your own resources. And there's all kinds of great ways to plug them in. There's tap outs as well, which is like online therapy for kids. It's like, just there's so many different things. There's Mightier if he likes to play video games, you might try Mightier, which will help him rewire and he'll learn a little bit about self-regulation. So, okay. And Sprinkle, Sprinkle said a friend was staying with me. This is what happened to her on Friday when Aries and Neptune were in Aries. No, but yes, a friend of me was staying and got into a huge fight and kicked him out, and he ghosted me. It's in my 8th. Ugh. Oh man. See. And then she said he also stole from me. See, 8th house, other people's money, right? Oh man, sounds really hard. Hey Sarah, great to have you for sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sounds like Sprinkle had Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. Oof. You're in for some big changes there, Sprinkle. Big changes this year. Boy, hang in there. You got this. So that's I'm glad that you started that way. Um, where can I find the forecast this week? Sammy, I'm sorry that it's a little bit late, but it is actually uploading right now. It will be in the same place. We're just a little late. That Saturn Neptune got me, and I was in an ambulance on Friday. So that's like seriously, it's in my house of health. Bright Hawk is like, she's trying to hold me through a really intense moment, and she says, Saturn and Neptune are at 0 degrees right now, perfectly on top of each other. And the astrology world is meditating for peace right now. And I'm like, okay, let's kind of meditate with them. And I just started praying. Later on that day, later on that evening, while I was in the ER, after I did all this ambulance thing and all this, um, I was listening, like there was music playing that Bright Hawk put on, and all I could hear was that song, "Say Thank You," right? And I just suddenly felt like, oh, my prayers have been answered. Thank you, and they were answered. My heart came out of the arrhythmia, and everything is okay. I'm okay. Obviously, here I am with you all right now. So it was kind of a big deal, but here we are. Okay. So, yeah, it's the anaretic degree is 29 degrees. Okay. So, um, motion of emotion. Yeah. Pisces is very sensitive. Um, all right. All right. Yeah, you might want to check out that journal, Lissy. It comes, you can listen to the podcast for free. You buy the journal for a little bit. It wasn't expensive. Um, yeah. And I just do it a little bit, a couple times a week.
Sprinkle, if you could just put your time, date, and location, I'll run your chart.
Welcome, Cheryl. We're glad you're here.
Hi, Cheryl.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad I'm okay too. Yeah, I'm very grateful. There's sprinkles information, Bright Hawk. Yeah, so it's been kind of an intense week. We're uploading right now, actually uploading right like as we speak. The recording, we just kind of a little bit behind. But we're getting there. We got it all together. We even got the horoscopes, and those will be released hopefully in the next 24, 48 hours as we can. And it's just been a lot. These are very heavy transits right now. I don't think I was also thinking about, in the moment while I'm sitting there wondering why I'm going for this, why this is happening to me. Um I was like, this hasn't happened for 6,000 years since like, sorry, 6,000 BC. I don't even know how many years that is. I was like, 6,000 BC. And all I could think was, this hasn't happened since 6,000 BC. So all I could think was like, wow. Um, and I'm so grateful that this Mercury retrograde is not going to be too bad. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. It's just that we are on new territory. If you feel like you are in new territory, you are not imagining things. This is new territory. We're probably going to find some new things out. And I think that's what we need to be open to. Sarah asked me to take a look at her chart. I have her chart on hand. Good news is, Sarah, well, let me just, okay, hold on. I keeps going to whole sign. I wanted in Placidus. Okay. Um, so, okay. So community. Has your neighbors or your siblings or something been shifting? Have you been shifting your community somehow, Sarah? That's going to be happening for you. But also, this Mercury retrograde will be happening in second, third house. So this might have a little to do with a little bit of like money, but probably more like your siblings, your community, your neighbors, and people like that. Um, and oh, you started a new job. So then those people are probably changing, huh, Sarah? Like the people that you're around on a day-to-day basis are probably changing, right? So that's probably true. Um, but it feels like that there's going to be a shift in that area. So you should know that. And with this Mercury retrograde, it will have to do with that. So if there's like a miscommunication or something with siblings, neighbors, or people that live close to you, or things like that, or something to do with your home, just know that it will work out in the end because it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that hard. It'll probably have to do with some sort of relationship with someone. It'll probably have to do maybe with the relationship with maybe like a sibling or a neighbor or something, and something will be some sort of miscommunication, but then later you'll be happy that that happened because it will bring some other blessing in. So this Mercury retrograde is not super bad, you guys. So you should know that. I do have horoscopes for each sign. They'll be coming out in the next 48 hours on our YouTube, like they always do. Um, and so, we just have to take it one step at a time. Um, but this know that this Mercury retrograde it actually goes into retrograde on Thursday. We've been approaching the shadow for a couple weeks now. It's still going on now. It will happen completely in Pisces. Of course, it will depend on if you have more planets in Pisces or Virgo, and or if you're Gemini. If you have Gemini placements, it won't affect you as badly unless you have stuff in Virgo and Pisces. Then it will affect you more so, and it will probably and it won't necessarily be a hurt thing. It won't necessarily be a bad thing. So it just depends. So outside of that, Sarah, I think you're going to be okay. It's not going to be a terrible thing. It's not going to be a terrible Mercury retrograde. And it'll be going on till April. Okay. So
All right, let's take sprinkle.
okay. So she's a Virgo rising. So I can immediately say that, yeah, you'll feel this Mercury retrograde. And oh, no wonder you had that trigger with the Aries thing. Oh boy, yeah. Um, and then
So my first question that I just sort of
funny.
wonder when I look at this chart is, do you have a hard time expressing yourself? Or do you find it really easy to express yourself? I'm just curious because that Jupiter square the Sun Mercury makes me curious.
I'm not sure Jupiter's actually squaring it.
When I did it on the sheet, it looked like it had.
But Jupiter's at 10, Sun's at 26, Mercury.
Jupiter square Mercury. 10 4. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's literally, I'm just really curious. The other question I have is like,
Yeah, she might have a little hard time visioning her way forward or visioning how to get to where she wants to be. Um, I'm sure she will in just a moment. But this Mercury retrograde is going to happen in your house of day to day life. It could happen also around people in your home, or money in relation to your home, or business. Do you work from home? Um, Anything like that, especially since you have Venus in Pisces. This it's going to actually go between, like, the Mercury retrograde is going to be going like backwards and forwards in between your house of relationships and the sixth house, which is wellness, health, work, and then in relation to relationships with others, not necessarily love or romantic. It's more likely like other relationships, like friendships, roommates, and such like that. So it sounds like you've already been navigating that. And then on top of that, Mercury is going to go back and forth right here on the descendant. So it might, I don't know if you're looking for other roommates, if you're looking for other situations, you might attract a person and then be like, I don't know. But whatever you decide, um, you might feel like you made a bad decision, or you might question your decision. It will turn out okay in the end. You'll be glad you did whatever you did in the end. So don't be too concerned about it, because it will be in a trine to Cancer, which is up in the 10th and 11th house. Cancer actually rules your 11th house, which is friends. So, and that's where Jupiter's transiting right now. So I feel like this Jupiter Venus transit is likely to bring you a blessing, although it may not look like it right away. You might be like, I hope this works. You might be worried about some things, or you might say something that kind of messes it up, or you think you messed it up, but it ends up actually working out perfectly in the end. So that's what I would tell you about your Mercury retrograde. So,
And those that are new studying astrology, just a fun little thing to see in her chart. She was born almost under a full moon. See how the sun and moon are almost opposite each other, one at 26, one at 20. So, full moon baby. I'm a full moon baby too. Matter of fact, I was born 24 hours after an eclipse, full moon. So, I'd be curious, do full moons mean a lot to you? Do you love full moons? Do you feel like, I gotta go see the moon? Just curious if you relate to that.
so Sammy, thanks for asking. We are getting over bronchitis. We're okay. We are, good things are happening at the same time. We have found a house. We're going to be okay. Hey, Brighthawk, you can stop sharing. Okay. We are going to be okay, and we're good. Do you think anything's going to happen with our country, like with Trump? Shauna, everything's happening every day, don't you think?
So one of the things I would
Watching this
say,
guy's
because we've been
skin
looking
crawl
at
is
the chart.
hilarious.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying, watching his skin crawl with the Epstein files emerging, because the reason the Epstein files are emerging is because of the great reveal, which I've been talking about since last year, right? And that's when Saturn and Neptune are moving away from each other, and every time they move away from each other and come back, we get more information, and so that's what's happening, and I think I frankly think that the Epstein files speak to the wounding of most of our country. Because a lot, not most, but a lot, well, yeah, I guess most. If you read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, Dr. Bessel van der Kirk talks about how more than possibly 80% of the population has been sexually molested or uh, treated inappropriately by people in power of some sort. So it could just be their uncle, or, of course, in this case, it is political entities. Um, and I think that holds. And then as a result, when people grow up, they end up having a lot of anger Maybe they haven't resolved their own situation, but and rightfully so, they have a lot of anger because they feel like they lost their innocence. They feel traumatized and damaged for their whole life. And so, as a result, Donald Trump's probably going to figure out just why that was such a passionate issue, just why, yeah, 1 in 3 people are assaulted. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that really speaks to, like, the trauma of our world. And it's not just Americans, it happens in other countries too. And a lot of people have just had it. We're so done with it. And we're certainly not about to let some billionaires get away with it just because they got a bunch of money. And so, I think that's going to piss a lot of people off. And I think that we're seeing it now. We're seeing, and it's probably going to take him down. But what I will also say is when you're looking at the Trumpsters chart, which I'm not afraid to do, some people don't do politics, but I do because I feel like, well, in these days, you have to take a stance. I'm not afraid to take a stance. I also do queer astrology, which a lot of people also don't do that, but I do it. And so if you take a look at the Trumpsters chart here, which this could be interesting for everyone. Okay, here's his chart. There he is. Okay, you can see. Oh my God, look, he likes lesbians. It's on his ascendant. Okay. Let me just fix this because it's a whole sign right now.
And take out the asteroids.
I can't right now. It's too
Oh.
much work. Okay. So I have a lot of queer asteroids because that's what I do. And so Mars is on the ascendant here. You can see, boom, right there. But you can also see that he has Uranus and the Sun and the North Node conjunct. He is determined or not determined, destined to be unprecedented. Um, Jupiter is retrograde over here, bringing bad luck to him right now. And eventually it's going to move over here into Leo, where his Pluto is, which Pluto speaks to death and change and transformation. And somehow I just can't see the guy making great change for himself, but I could see the guy dying. So right here, you can see right there, you can see how the Uranus is going to enter into Gemini, which will be a Uranus return. Most people don't survive their Uranus return. Usually you're in your 80s. And it's also up here at the top of the sky. So when Uranus leaves Taurus, it's gonna it usually kicks you in the butt or messes with you in some way. It will usually be a surprise to the person. So it's very possible that he will get sick and get fired or both at the same time. So it's very possible that we will fire him or that the world will fire him, especially since Neptune and Saturn are up here at 0 degrees in his eighth house. That could very much happen because they're speaking to this Mars on his ascendant. So, and his Pluto. So, it's very interesting. Lots of things could happen. As far as the United States goes, the United States is probably also going to see big changes. So it's gonna we're seeing them. The changes are already happening, my friends. They're already in the flow. They're already happening. Where it's opening up before us, and as things unfold, I think that we'll all be learning something, right? Okay. So I think that what we should understand is that while it's happening on a big stage, it's also happening on a smaller stage, which is in our world, right? In our personal lives. And while it might feel really hard sometimes, it might also be necessary. And I think with this Mercury retrograde, it will be particularly um, this Mercury retrograde. I feel like it's going to close some chapters. I just feel like it's going to just close chapters for us. And if you take a look at the United States chart, if you take a look here at the United States chart, you can see that Uranus is entering into Gemini, into our house of relationships, which of course would speak to other countries. We got Jupiter retrograde in our 8th house. Jupiter is going to go direct here with this Mercury retrograde, which will probably help us heal some of these wounds and such. And then on top of that, oh shoot, somehow I've gotten stuck on whole sign, and I wish it would stop doing that. Yep, there we go. Jupiter will go retrograde. Jupiter will go direct here in the house of relationships. I think that will greatly help us. And then also, you can see that the United States has Pluto on its south node, telling us to look at our history. Who are we? Reviewing who we are, making us take a review of who we truly are, and making us decide, we the people. And that's really what's going on right now, especially with our Aquarius moon and the North Node. The United States about to have a nodal return, or a nodal opposition, actually, where the North Node is on the South Node type of thing, where our destiny makes us look at where we've come from and where we're going and what we're going to be doing with that. So, yes, there's lots of big things happening in the United States right now. It's a very big transit. It's a very big deal. I'm not sure if I want to answer your question, Stargazer, because I feel like I don't know if you're trying to be a smartass or if you're being for real. On the off chance that you're being for real, I can say that they, them, and people that identify outside the binary does resonate with Gemini. It also resonates with Mercury. So Mercury is considered non-binary. Gemini is considered non-binary. Uranus is considered queer or non-binary. And then so is Aquarius. And so a lot of times, like right now with Uranus in Taurus, right now, Uranus, the queer planet, is in Taurus. And that speaks to how people are like, well, we've always done it this way. We've always done male, female. And it's not actually true, but we think we have. And it's actually true that we've had they, them for a long time. We've had lots of people outside the he, him, she binary for many generations and many cultures around the world in a lot of different ways. So I encourage you to educate yourself on that. And I encourage you also to recognize that Uranus, the queer planet, actually speaks to queer people in their astrology chart and directly speaks to that we are meant to be here. There's a reason we are here, and we are sacred beings. We are sacred, queer, LGBTQ beings. We are supposed to be here. We are supposed to be doing what we're doing. We're supposed to be pressing on the binary. It's actually very important, because if we don't do that, the separation of sex, male and female, will continue. And then therefore women will continue to be oppressed. So, people like what's her name, wrote Harry Potter. I can't even remember her name anymore. J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, who likes to attack transgender people. She's actually she's actually a radical feminist. And radical feminists are actually kind of stupid, because they haven't realized that the gender revolution, which is what we're in right now, and it's about to shift when Uranus, the queer planet, goes into Gemini. There's an entire generation of people that are incredibly aware of the queer identity and have no problems with transgender people, or they, them, or people that are outside the binary. And in fact, as a result, we will probably see a huge shift away from the binary again. We have had this in the past in human history, and we are about to do it again. And thank God, because this is what will bring equality to both sexes so that men will stop being raised to believe that they are better than women or that somehow they deserve a woman's body. So, this is a very important transition. So, every woman out there should be thanking every single queer that they know. And queers should know that they are here for a reason. They've always been here. They are sacred beings, and we are grateful you are alive. Please stay in this world. We need you. We need you to fight this battle. I know it's a hard battle. You could totally just hide if you need to. We love you, and you're meant to be here. That's my message.
Stargazer, you made a comment that says, I'm not suggesting anyone shouldn't be here, but why identify as plural since we all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine? And I'm going to say this for Hollis. They don't identify as he and they don't identify as she. That's a choice every single human being gets to make. When someone gives you their pronouns and they say they, honor it, respect, practice it. We need to wrap up. We've been going for more than an hour. I'm really grateful. So there's so many great questions. I wanted to do one more person's chart, but we've gone over an hour, and I'm just going to say, come and join us next time. And we look for your comments, and we try to do as many charts as we can. We try to go for an hour. Both of us are trying to get over being sick, so we're not going to go longer this time. We're really grateful for you, grateful for your great questions. Hi, Chelsea. Sorry, Stargazer, I didn't want to come across as aggressive. I have Mars on my ascendant. I look like Mars is aggressive. I just need to be really clear. And I'm feeling very protective of my beloved. And that's where that's coming from. My love is really important to me. And that's why I'm intense.
So let me just say this also. I just want to add this because I can it actually is Stargazer. Let me explain to you why it's dishonoring right now. The entire world right now, like the entire United States, well, not the entire. A lot of people in the United States, especially those in power, like Donald Trump and his buddies, have said that I don't exist. And you're looking at me. I clearly exist. He's also taken away my rights. He's taken away my ability to be who I am. He's said that I don't have any right to exist. And now it looks like he's going to start arresting queer people. And now he's sent a queer person to a country. They were here, so that they don't get murdered. Because in other countries, being transgender could kill you, could get killed for it. Did you know that? And so this person was granted protection here in this country to not be killed because they're transgender. And then and now Donald Trump has sent them to a country that they will be murdered in. This is why it's dishonoring right now. And you know that. You know that's happening in the world. You know that the number one suicide in the world is transgender people. You know that Donald Trump, the person that is in charge of this country, has pretty much said that we don't exist. You know all of this. But your mind is unable to open enough to recognize that other people might be having a different experience than you. And what I recognize about myself is that when a person calls me she, it doesn't feel right. And when a person calls me he, that doesn't feel right. I feel like either way, you're missing something. So many years ago, before it was cool, way back in I think it was late 90s. I think it was about 1998, 1999. I started writing a blog called Do I Have to Choose? Later on, I turned it into a book. It's called Divine Androgen, a sacred path for gender variant people. So if you're truly curious and you're not just here to be a troll and you truly want to know, then I suggest that you go read my book. And then maybe you might come to a better understanding. The people outside the binary have been existing and have been around for thousands of years before the United States even existed. And people outside the binary live in cultures all over the world. Go look at India. Go look at all the other places and look at all these beautiful people in my community that are telling you right now, okay? They're telling you right now that I am an important person. And so what you are doing is disrespecting. And like Sprinkle said, why be stupid and question the choices what other people's makes versus just respecting them? I agree. If you ask me to call you Stargazer, then I'm going to call you Stargazer. So I'm asking you to call me Hollis and refer to me as they. Least you could do is that, right? Yes, I am a human being. And it is absolutely terrible of the things that are happening in the world. And a lot of people are scared by the transgender people being attacked because it's unnecessary. And did you know that they did that? They attacked queer people during the Holocaust, during the Nazis did that, and now they're doing it all over again. Look at that. Thank you very much, Corey. And what does Corey say? I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Hollis. And Corey's not queer. She's straight, and I'm helping her recover. Who are you? What are you doing? Right? Okay. And I'm grateful for having you, Chelsea. Yeah, we're grateful for having you. And you can see that I have a lot of support. So while you might be over there giving me a hard time, everybody else is saying, yeah. And people in India struggle a lot. They do. They do. Especially transgender people. They do. They do. Um, well, if you didn't know that, you really should take some time to educate yourself. Um, and the fact that you keep saying it's plural means that you only know the English language. So you've never been introduced to any other language. So you've never explored outside of the United States. I strongly suggest you take a look. And you might want to look and see what Donald Trump is doing to queer people right now, because he's doing a Hitler. So, try instead to love people and accept people, even if you don't understand it. Um, oh my God. Yes, we must be better human beings. I'm looking at Zombie going, okay. Yeah, did you take your medicine today? Okay, why is that a hard time? I'm telling you it's a hard time because we use they all the time in a not plural way. For instance, you're standing at an event, somebody left their jacket, but there's no gender to it. So, you don't know whose it is exactly, and you'll say to somebody that comes over, you'll go, "Oh, look, somebody left their jacket." There you go. You're using there in the singular, and no one's going to question it. So I think you need to go back to grammar class. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic evening. May you be blessed. May you take this Mercury retrograde transit, and may you find your chapters closing.
Remember, this time between eclipses is powerful. So say your prayers, make your intentions, make your wishes, help the universe know what direction you want to go in. And may you have a blessed week. I hope everything goes really well for you. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology and keeping an eye out for the forecasts, which will all be posting in the next 24 hours. And the forecast for the week will be up within the hour, and then the horoscopes will be up tomorrow morning probably. Okay, many thanks. Much love. Thanks for all your warm support. I appreciate you. Take care.